Shit.
Uh,
Hey, happy mother loving Friday. Welcome to another
hey.
episode of the Uncorked Poetry Podcast. I'm here with my guest, Durane West. Hey,
Hey.
what's
What's
up, bro?
up? How you? How you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's Friday. I got
Mm.
my drink. It's
Hey.
it's 100 calories, but that's all right. I'm working on something. I'm working on something.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
How you doing?
I'm chilling. Yeah, just was really excited to get a chance to sit down and talk with you. So I made sure to, light my candle. I got something to drink too. I won't put it on the camera, but yeah, I also got water. So but yeah, just ready to chop it up and read some poetry to the people.
Word, word. So you're a poet, a creative, a writer. You do sports writing.
Yeah.
Um, where did you know what? I don't want to start there. I have a question that I ask a lot of people, and I feel like this is a good place to start for us.
Okay.
Who was the first person to believe in in your abilities as a writer, and how did that encouragement shape you as an artist?
Man, that's a great question. I feel like my mother put the seed, she planted the seed early. She told me a lot about when she was growing up, she was super creative. And she should have been able to go to Mass College of Art. She didn't. She chose not to, but had the abilities to do so. And then she also told me that when I was like 2 or 3, she used to read to me a lot. And she used to intentionally collect children's books. She tried to collect Curious George books because she felt like they'd be like worth something, and really wanted to have almost like, some type of symbol to show that, that I had started from reading, as a foundation piece. And I feel like in education, it really showed for me, like, I always loved to read. I always loved to write. And I think that's where it came from. So I feel like she should get credit for putting that seed, in the dirt and letting it kind of be watered by education and the reps to read and write and to express myself.
Word, yes, yes. So I feel like being able to be a writer or a poet is something of a superpower. You know, it's a thing that you have to intentionally invoke in order to create. Um, if writing were a superpower, what do you think would be your kryptonite?
Oh man, it's so funny, T. I just was listening to the Versus podcast with Franny Choi and Dinesh Smith, and something came up, and I feel like my kryptonite in that situation would be if when I wrote a poem, the memory of that poem was lost, and I couldn't remember the memory anymore. And the only time I could rekindle that memory is if I read that poem again.
Oh my gosh, that is a blessing and a curse.
Mm, mm.
You, you different. You good different. You different. I like it. I like it so much.
Appreciate it.
Um, where does you said your influence came a lot from your mom. As a sports writer, where does that influence come from?
Man, that's a great question. I feel like it's Boston, baby. It's the bean town. It's big B's out here, man. It's just the city. It's the passion, for sports in the city. I think in Boston we particularly cling to our history, and we
Yeah.
have a lot of.
Sorry.
All right, all right. We cling to our pride. We have a lot of pride in where we've come from. And I feel like as a writer, for me at least, as an African American in this city that is, has its own issues in its political sphere, whatnot. But I think that aside, like, as a Black man, knowing where you come from is something that, the city itself really has helped me want to ask those questions about who I am and where my family comes from. So I think a lot about, just the long history of sports and the stories. I think a lot about how I've consumed sports growing up, on the radio, listening to Red Sox baseball on the radio, or reading, the great writers that have come from this area, like Bob Ryan or Jackie McMullen, or Will McDonough, being able to just consume the stories that come from this area, and relate to the people however I personally feel like I can, right? And I think I want to be able to tell those stories just like that. I want to be able to connect people that may not feel like they have a connection piece. I think we are getting more isolated, and the pandemic, didn't really help on that end in terms of connecting people and making them feel like, going out of their way to, help the next person per se, is, necessary. And I feel like telling those stories to reconnect us as a society is one of the reasons why I write. It's not the only reason, but I think I definitely find a challenge in that.
Word. Oh my God, I love that.
Mm.
Hey Tara, what's up, girl? My girl Tara's like, what's up? Well, she said hey, but it's close enough.
Hey,
So I want to ask another question, and then we can get into your first poem, if that's all right with you.
please, yeah.
Cool beans. All right. Oh, this is a fun one. Okay. So you're an artist, a poet, a teacher, a lover, fighter, dreamer.
Mm-hmm.
Where does your superhero story begin? What is your origin story?
That's a great question. My origin story, man. Well, I feel like I get this strong feeling of like being dropped in like Superman. I don't know how, how they drop. I don't know. I haven't followed that storyline really in depth to know, but I feel like he gets dropped into like that barn in Kansas or wherever, somewhere. And I feel like the imagery would be dropped down into South Boston. And that is just one community within Boston, but it has a long history of it being predominantly like Irish and white. And in the 90s, when I grew up, I was one of like maybe 2 or 3 families of color. So really navigating that space and being able to absorb a lot of different experiences within that journey. And also seeing my mother at that age, trying to navigate as well as a Black woman, a single parent, and just a strong, independent Black woman.
Word. That's a good origin story. I like that. I like that. All right. What is the name of the poem you're going to read for us today?
All right. So on that kind of like end, I think the first poem I want to read is it's a blackout piece that I did during the month of April, which is National Poetry Month. I kind of went back and did this like prompt about like this date in history. And then what it did is it pulled up the Apollo 13, which was, I guess, like a failed, attempt at going to the moon, or I don't know, to another, I don't know. But
no,
basically, right. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. And what I did with that is I blacked that out, the article, and then kind of added in a character to make it a little more personal. So it's called Countdown to Liftoff.
Oh, I like that.
Thank you. The world watching, our spacecraft malfunction on its 3rd lunar mission, felt better after Amar told me how she is praised in class. Her name foreign to native tongue. Her color abstract to jaded pupil. Our mission to Fairmore Highlands met disaster April 11th. 2 days into orbit. 2 days into speculation of my resume from local networks searching for clickbait. Normal supply of light and water disrupted, the manual said. Amar is only in 2nd grade. She flies high above the clouds, orbiting moon and stars. She is the sun. Black girl, not black hole, not storage unit. In class, her teachers rely on her, lease her intellect as it inflates, smokes up the walls, confidence churning, cranium churning to compute, countdown to liftoff. And showers shoot from her seat, one hand pointed to heaven. Classmates gawk, not knowing how light and water originally were close. How controllers of emergency looked like Donald Trump and not Donald Glover, and this is America. Crippled, cold journey with semantical problems rooted in archaic standards that forced me to watch as this kid from MIT with no experience led us to re-entry with atmosphere. Almost blew up Earth. Houston, we've had a problem here. Yet the news claimed that we turned tragedy to triumph.
Hey,
Thank you.
Durane.
Yeah.
Damn. I caught pieces of that, but we're having a bad connection. Is it possible
Oh,
you
no.
can move closer to your router or signal? I don't know if that works, but I just heard people say that shit before.
Oh, no. Okay, yeah, definitely.
Okay, and I'm gonna
Let me
kick
do
my
you.
dog out because I know he's gonna bark. Hey you.
Okay.
Love you.
Sorry, y'all. I didn't get that to y'all completely. If you
That's all
didn't
right. They're
hear
still
it.
here with us. What's up, peeps? Hey, Shannon, what's up? Okay. Let's try this again. My deepest apologies. I definitely want to hear this because I can see in your face that things started to change mid-poem. I want to see what that change is.
Okay, all right. You want me to read it from the top?
Yes, please.
Let's do it. The world watching our spacecraft malfunction on its third lunar mission felt better after Amar told me how she is praised in class. Her name foreign to native tongue, her color abstract to jaded pupil. Our mission into Faramoro Highlands met disaster April 11th, 2 days into orbit.
We have to pause again,
No?
Duran. I'm so sorry. We're having the same connection problem. Is it possible for you to on your cell phone or your computer?
I'm on my computer right now.
Okay, could you refresh your computer and I'm gonna lose you and then you'll come right back in.
Okay.
I wonder if it's because he has another. Do you have another window open? Someone says. Can he open it on his phone? That's a good question. I have no idea. And you know what? I should really know how the system works better. I'm gonna get it, guys. Yeah. Eventually. Maybe today's the day. I doubt it. Anywho, I know he'll be back. In the meantime, what's mother loving? Okay. For those of you who know that I do Uncorked, you also know I do Coffee with Teas. I be trying not to cuss. And forgetting where the fuck I am. There we go.
Hey.
All right. Can you give me like the first two sentences and let's see if this is fixed?
All right, let's do it. The world watching our spacecraft malfunction on its third lunar mission. How we doing?
So far, so good.
Okay. The world watching our spacecraft malfunction on its third lunar mission felt better after Amar told me how she is praised in class. Her name foreign to the tongue.
I'm so sorry. Can you try to turn your sound? Do you have a microphone?
I do.
Let me see. All right, that might help with the sound and picking up the thing that's the stuff. I don't know what it's called, but I know what it does. Anybody else feel like that? Like you can't like name the thingy? I call everything a thingy.
All the time.
Right? Yes. I stopped calling thingies like motherfuckers because that was all the time. And let me tell you, schools don't like it. They don't care for it.
Check 1 2.
That's a good check. I'm not sure if
All right.
that's what the response is, but that's the answer. I think he's reading. I think because he's reading off his computer. I don't know what that means, Shannon. Um, I think you mean
I think you
okay.
want me to close my tabs here. I can close the tabs for the other
Yeah.
links I have pulled up here. I can just
Oh,
read
she
off my
said take a
phone.
screenshot of your poem and read it from your phone,
All right. I got
and then
it.
close that tab.
All right. I just closed the tabs here. Let's see. I have it on my phone pulled up. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you great. Do you have a snowball? I have a snowball too.
Hey, yeah. All right. So let's try this. Third time's the charm, huh?
Third time's a charm. We got this, guys. Thank you for sticking with us.
Yeah, thank you for being patient. Countdown to liftoff. The world watching our spacecraft malfunction on its third lunar mission felt better after Amar told me how she is praised in class. Her name foreign to native tongue, her color abstract to jaded pupil. Mission to
Nope.
Moral
Do it again.
Highland.
Astrophysics.
No?
I'm so sorry. I know you keep getting on the roll and doing great. Like it looks really darn good.
Man.
What else can we try? Okay. It seems to pick up when your voice gets like louder and deeper. So maybe if you stand further away from the mic or get your computer closer to your router.
Okay.
Yeah,
So the
my
router's in my
French.
room.
Your router's in your room.
Yeah.
Oh, so
So
you're
I
pretty
could
much pretty close
probably,
to that.
yeah, I can probably try to like not get close to the mic as much. Can you hear me now? Like, is this still good from
I
here?
can hear you now, but there are times when you're cutting in and out on my computer.
Hmm.
Hmm. Let's see. Let me see what I can do on this side. Oops. I mean, isn't that funny whenever you see someone go oops? Just like, wait, what? Oops is the scariest fucking word ever. What do you mean, oops? You know, goddamn oops. Okay.
Sometimes I make a noise. I'm like, yeah,
Right? Like
yeah,
maybe not that noise.
yeah.
That was a weird ass noise. Okay. We're gonna try this again. I turned my sound down a little bit, so hopefully that works. And Shannon says, if worse comes to worse, lose the video and just do audio. Sometimes that works. She's not wrong. All right. So
Okay,
we're gonna try this again, guys. And like Shannon says, if worse comes to worse, then we will keep the audio. So listen to the audio, even if like the video isn't working. Let's
awesome.
try that. And remember, this will be a podcast as well. So whatever you don't hear, you will hear on the podcast. We got you.
Okay,
All right.
cool.
Let's try this again.
All right.
Acrobats. I don't know what that means.
Countdown to liftoff. The world watching our spacecraft malfunction on its third lunar mission felt better after Amar told me how she is praised in class. Her name foreign to native tongue, her color abstract to jaded pupil. Our mission to Moral Highlands met disaster April 11th. 2 days into orbit. 2 days into speculation of my resume from local networks searching for clickbait. Normal supply of light and water disrupted, the manual said. Amar is only in second grade. She flies high above the clouds, orbiting moon and stars. She is the sun. Black girl, not black hole, not storage unit. In class, her teachers rely on her. Lease her intellect as it inflates, smokes up the walls, confidence charging, cranium churning to compute, countdown to liftoff. Then sunflowers shoot from her seat, one hand pointed to heaven. Classmates gawk, not knowing how close light and water originally were, how controllers of emergency looked like Donald Trump and not Donald Glover, and this is America. Crippled, whole journey with semantical problems rooted in archaic standards that forced me to watch as this kid from MIT with no experience led us to re-entry with atmosphere. Almost blew up Earth. Houston, we've had a problem here, yet the news claim that we turned tragedy to triumph. How'd I do, T?
Holy shitballs. From Donald Glover to not Donald Trump, but Donald Glover. That I mean that I can't hear it. It sounds so fucking awesome though, bummer dude. They didn't hear it again.
Oh,
Is
man.
your mic, is your sound coming out of your computer or out of your um wait, it said your mic should be placed directly in front of you, and we're supposed to make sure that the sound is coming from your computer.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I think that's what it is. When you're talking to, I can hear it from the computer, and I plugged in my microphone, so assuming that my input.
Try to unplug your mic and then plug it back in.
All right, let's try
And she
it.
thinks it's definitely a connection thing. Um,
Okay.
I don't know how to fix the connection thing. Goosebump. Mix the broadcast sound separately. Don't use the main house output of the live sound console. English, please.
Is this sound better? Check one, check two, check check.
Oh, that does sound better.
Okay, let me see. Does it sound the same with the camera on though?
I don't know. Let's get like 3 lines and see what happens.
All right, let's change it up because I feel
Okay.
like I would like to read some other stuff since I've been reading the same thing over. All right, I'm gonna read. These are quick poems, quick chunks in honor of the lessons from fallen leaves. There's a poem by Lucille Clifton.
That's dope.
The leaves believe that letting go is love, that love is trust, that trust is support, that support is community, that community is home, that home is an island, that the island grows from within. And I agree.
Damn, that was
All right,
beautiful.
all right. Y'all hear me from that one?
Yeah, I think they're right. It's a connection issue when you talk slow, like you just did. It has enough time to catch up. It's when you go fast that the connection gets lost.
Okay, let's do another one.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
All right. The leaves believe that letting go is love, that love is pain, that pain is sacrifice, that sacrifice is faith, that faith is lonely, that loneliness is temporary. And I agree.
Oh my God. That faith is lonely and loneliness. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That hit different today, bro.
Hey, hey.
Oh man. Yeah, whatever else you want to throw out there. Yeah, that was awesome.
All right, I got a couple more, but I'll do one more and then we'll stop. I'm glad the audio is working, everybody. All
Hi,
right.
Ava Marie. Hey, Tilia.
The moon believes that letting go is discipline, that discipline is respect, that respect is gratitude, that gratitude is love, and that love is universal. And I agree.
You're goddamn right it is. You're goddamn right it is.
Hey,
Yes. You
hey,
can't fight love. It just is. It just is.
it is. Yeah.
Let it in. Just let the love in.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm. That's
Oh my
beautiful.
gosh. So Lucille Clifton, um, genius.
Mm-hmm.
And I think um, personally, I think one of the poetic greats. When we think about like poetry and being a poetic great, can you see yourself up on that mantle with the other greats? Like eventually, with the work that you put into 10, 20 years from now.
I don't. It's weird. Like, I feel like, not to sound like big headed or anything like that, but I thought about this recently, and I think about, I haven't even scratched the surface of, we were talking about this a little before jumping on, like, poets write because of the love of writing and expression, and I feel like the journey of writing for me, and even the people that I read, like Toni Morrison or James Baldwin, like, I feel like they're not writing to be the greatest writer alive. You know what I mean? Especially, and I feel like I can appreciate that more as a sports fan, because the narrative about LeBron is he wants to be Jordan, and et cetera, et cetera. There's always this machismo stature to being the greatest, or have this hyperbole around where your legacy lands. And I think what I wanted to become, is someone who just inspires. And if I can be someone who creates art that inspires people to believe in themselves and create art, I think that'd be like far enough. If I can be able to be fortunate enough to publish, and have opportunities to have a platform to say how I feel, and be able to go on great shows like this, and podcasts like this, and just kind of talk my shit. Like, I think that, to me, is what my goal is. I don't think I go into it, and I don't think I would ever really want to go into it looking to knock off the Sophia Snows, or the Crystal Valentines of the world, because those are amazing poets that inspire me to be better every day. And you know I think I wouldn't be inspired to write without their stories and their courage. So yeah, I just want to be a part of that group. I don't want to be, you know, looked at as better than or worse than. I still have imposter syndrome a lot of the time about, even being an artist, and I feel like, I don't get paid a lot for doing stuff like this all the time. So it's like, I would really just want to inspire. I think working with students, working with kids, has that same aspect, and that's what I do my 9 to 5. So I think that is really my purpose in life.
Word, word. Shannon said such a great answer, beautiful heart and mind sharing with other hearts and minds. Isn't that
Thank
our
you,
purpose?
Shannon. I
Yes,
appreciate that.
yes. You know what I also heard in there in that response and that answer was it reminded me of Tupac a little bit because he said, I might not be the greatest of all time, but I will spark the mind of someone. Oh, I might not change the world, but I will spark the mind of the person who will
Mm-hmm.
change the world.
Exactly.
And I think as an artist, having that mindset of it's not just me here.
Nope.
As an artist, I believe it's our duty to,
Mhm.
not be gatekeepers, but gate openers.
Yeah,
And to just continue to hold that door open for everyone who looks like us and who has been marginalized for whatever reason, hold that door open for them.
I
And
agree.
I love that response.
Thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
think
You're
that
so
was
adorable. I know you're a grown ass man. My bad. Is there a writer or poet that you admire and why? Or like several. Doesn't have to just be
Oh
one.
man. There's a lot. I'm a huge fan of um Portia O, who is
Mhm,
um the amazing poet laureate of Boston right now.
mhm,
I had the privilege of interviewing Anthony Febo. For anybody who doesn't know about Anthony Febo, he's an amazing poet, right now based in Malden, but is from the city, and has a book out called Becoming an Island. It's amazing. And he also is a part of one half of Adobo Fish Sauce, which is a community healing group. They do really great. They do great work. Period. Um, you know, I don't know. There's a lot of great poets. I feel like right now I'm listening to the Versus podcast because I'm a big Franny Choi and Dinesh Smith fan. I'm big fans of them in their writing. But I feel like I get inspired by like a lot of local art. So like I have a lot of names and minds in my head. I feel like Amanda Shea all day. You
Word. I
know,
love Amanda. Shout out to Amanda.
Amanda is just such a trendsetter
Yes.
and a beautiful soul, and she melds that in and merges that in with her poetry so well.
Yes.
Um, you know, I don't know, Miss Sublime Love is so great. She's another great poet, spoken word
Yeah. Shout out to
artist.
Sublime. She's dope.
Um, you know, I don't know. I feel like I can go down the list. Like I feel like a lot of the one thing I think a lot about being in Boston is that the stereotype is a lot of people who don't like champion each other or like support each other. And I feel like, you know, I just think across the lines of all the great like poets from the Stone Poetry Group to slam poets that are in the city. Um, just I just I'm really like I'm competitive. I won't lie. I ain't gonna lie. I'm
That's
I'm
good.
competitive, but I feel like what I value in my competitive spirit is that I'm okay with saying that I learned from you, right? So like I'm okay to say like, yo, T, like, yo, like that last poem you spit was really good. And I took that rhyme scheme you wrote and I put it in my like I'm fine with saying that because I feel like I'm not gonna say like imitation is the form of flattery, but like really just like I'm just big on like being a melting pot of the experiences that I soak in. So I feel like that's really where I see it. A lot of people are inspirations, even if they're not poets. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I draw a lot of my inspiration just from experience. So yeah,
Word. I feel you on the competitive part. I'm a little competitive myself. I play softball and I like to win.
yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you a little story. I'm not very proud of it, but we were playing a game, so whatever. So there it was. We were playing softball, and people were. It's all ages from 18 to like 70,
Hmm.
and I played pet catcher. Catcher. I played catcher.
Yeah.
It's my favorite position. So the
And
game's going on, whatever, it's going great. And someone hit the ball, and second base is rounding third, and she's coming around to home. And then she trips
mhm.
and falls, and she's like 70.
Oh
And
no.
everyone's like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" So I got the ball, and I just went over and just like tagged her while she was down. Like, you're not gonna walk across my plate, bro. I don't. We still playing the game. Like
You gotta tag her first. I
you
feel you.
gotta tag her.
I mean, why can't you do both? You know what I mean? I'll help you out, man, but first you
That's
out.
what I'm saying.
So I'm gonna help you to your seat. You know what I mean? Like
Word. I'm helping to you. See,
we not
I
going to
think
home plate. Just say I'm
right.
out technically, but let's get you up, make sure you're all right. Dust you off.
And
Uh
they walked to like right past the plate, like not on purpose. It was just like that was the most direct path to the bench. But I was just like, not of course my plate. I don't think so.
the catcher is the most important position in baseball, in my opinion. So, you
Thank
know,
you. We
it's
see the
not,
game from like a whole different perspective.
yeah, you have to do a lot. And I mean, yeah, you do so much as the catcher. I feel like that's so much of an underrated um position.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So I have a bit of a mantra, a thing that not that I live by, but I try to um think about when I go from project to project,
Yeah.
which is the idea of being competitive. If I lose whatever, I'm fine with losing
Mm,
as long as I know I tried my absolute best.
mm,
Losing's fine. Losing happens. Losing is essential to growth.
mm,
I can live with losing. I cannot live with knowing I could have done better.
Mm,
As a poet, how does that sound to you as a poet?
yeah. Uh, I am not in that boat in like the literal sense. Like
Mhm.
I'm a basketball player right now. As long as my body allows it to be, I'm still a basketball player. So um when I lose, I am my biggest critic. Even when I win, I'm my biggest critic, period. So I feel like when I lose, I'm at a place where my body can only do so much of what my mind wants it to do.
Word. Mhm.
So I'm in a constant battle of trying to build space for myself to be kind to myself, right? Where it's like we may lose, and I don't lose a lot in basketball. I ain't gonna lie. I must either pick the right opponents or I get the right teammates. And when we do lose, I'm definitely in my head trying to analyze. I think that's the Virgo moon in me. And like really just trying to nitpick what I could have done better. And sometimes I have to realize that my body couldn't have done what my mind maybe wanted to. My mind say jump through the lane like Jordan and pump fake and float it in up and under the basket. And my body
Word.
like, bro, you ain't even up off the ground 6 inches, bro. So you're not doing that. So yeah, I think, but I can understand that's the literal sense. But I think in the figurative sense, yes, definitely. Like I think within my art, like I get really wrapped in and trying to find the right word or the right way to convey this image. And I think a lot about, the mantra of like you always supposed to be like, in your journey. And I think that's the best thing about the editing process is that like you can always go back and edit something in a year and like have a new perspective or gone through a workshop that helped you edit better or whatever the case may be. Um, and stuff like today, even today, I opened up an old graveyard, like a document full of notes that I had, and just like really getting back into like just like working on the craft. It's like jump shots in the gym almost, and I that part of it I enjoy the most, to be honest. Like I enjoy the fact that like I can go back into remembering where I was when I thought about this poem from the beginning. Um, it only makes the poem that much sweeter when it's finished and someone like yourself, T, asked me about it. You know what I mean? It's like I can tell you really point to point where this poem was coming from, how it got crafted, et cetera, et cetera. So it means more.
I love that. That kind of reminds me of Harry Potter. I'm not a big Harry Potter fan. I'm
Okay.
actually anti Harry Potter, not because of J.K. Rowling, but because my ex used to watch it all the time. But and like, you know what? I'm not even gonna get into that. Anyway, um, now I forgot where the hell I was going trying to explain this gosh darn thing. um, that was gonna be such a great connection. Um, I'll be damned. I done forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh no.
Pickles.
Oh man, tartar sauce.
Tartar sauce. All right, on to the next question.
On to the next one.
Yeah, man, that was gonna see. This is why I should be writing this shit down. I'm not Jay Z. I'm not Jay Z. I wish I was, but I'm not.
Big
Um,
facts.
so let's try. I have another question, and then we can try another poem.
Okay, sounds good.
So this is a question that I like to ask a lot of my guests, and the answer is always different, and
Mm.
it usually makes people a little uncomfortable, but that's kind of the point.
Hey.
Okay. So as a poet, for those of you who are just watching, we've already established that being a poet is like having a superpower.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask, what part of your talent are you most proud of?
Hmm. Poof.
You know what? Most proud of? No, that's too easy. What part of your talent impresses you the most?
That's actually easier because I feel like the part that impresses me, that surprises me a
Mm-hmm.
lot is I feel like I have an innate ability to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have this it's just I'm just blessed. I'm not going to say that I can attribute it to anything. Like I feel like just very fortunate to see things away and want to create enough empathy in what I say to connect multiple people from multiple strands of life. Um, I feel like, I've also done retail and a bunch of jobs in customer service where like sometimes you can't tell the customer you're wrong. So you have to like politely tell them that, there's another way that you need to go about this. And it's like, how do you connect where we're at right now to where I need you to get to? And I think that's like telling a story, right? Like if I tell you my journey, I want you to be able to understand where I got from point A to point B and why it's important that I'm telling you this story in point A and why it connects to point B. And I think um, that impresses me a lot. Like I don't think I do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a rambler. I can definitely ramble. But the genesis of what I talk about, like what the points are, I think are usually iron cast. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, just kind of just banking on that. I think the thing that I'm proud of the most is my choice of words. So like what I'm getting really comfortable with, and this is just a habit that over time has gotten stronger, a muscle that I'm just still trying to work on, is like um asking myself if that's the best word for the poem. You know what I mean? Um
Ooh.
Figuring
Ooh.
out if there's a better word that can convey the same the same exact meaning, but it's a more meatier word, right? Like just leaving no stone unturned. That is what I'm proud of, is because that type of stuff I feel like is innate in like being a writer. It's like
Mm-hmm.
asking yourself those hard questions. It's like this was your first draft, but you should be really like working then on like exposing yourself, which is really hard to do. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as my worst critic, I do it a lot. So I think I definitely have gotten a little better at that.
Nice. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think as a poet and as a writer, we have to continuously like push ourselves. And there's this wonderful self-help woman named Mel Robbins.
Mm,
I knew you knew her. I knew you'd know her. And she has this great talk where she says no one's coming. No one's
mm,
coming to push you. No one's coming to tell you to get off the couch. No one's coming to encourage you to do something. It's all on you. And
mm,
as a poet and as a writer, we have to continuously ask ourselves, is this the best way to say what I'm trying to say?
mm,
And is what I'm trying to say being can someone understand what I'm trying to say just by these words? Is it too deep? Is it not deep enough? Do
yeah,
I give a shit?
yeah,
And answering those real questions and just being honest with yourself, which is, I think, one of an endearing quality of poets, which
mm,
is this good enough?
mm,
Do you ever
yeah.
have the feeling where do you ever like write a poem and you go to bed and you're like, this poem is dope as shit. I can't wait to show this poem. You wake up, you're just like, what in the hell ever was I thinking? I can't say that. I don't even know. Like, you know, I don't know, leprechauns, or like I don't even have a zebra. Like it's called zebra. Okay, fight me. No, don't fight me. I'd much rather hug you. But zebra people, don't come at me.
Well, it's so funny off of that. Like, I feel like I'll push back a little because I feel similarly, but not all the way.
Yeah,
When I
too.
feel like I have the concept of a poem, usually it just comes out. Like
Mhm,
how I feel like my writing process sometimes is I consume, and
mhm,
then at some point it just comes out what I need to write about. Um, Sometimes that's not always a great thing. Maybe that means I haven't wrote, a line in like 3 or 4 days, which I'm trying not to do. I'm trying to be better at writing every day.
Mhm.
But in those moments where I consume, usually it's like, maybe, me and my partner, we went on a trip, or there was some really high highs, like, we were able to do something special, or, maybe there were some really low lows, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I feel like I have to sit with myself, which I do pretty commonly now, and it kind of just comes out. And I think when it comes out, I usually know this is more necessary to be like, this is more necessary for me. Like, I
Mhm.
need to get this off my chest. And if it's good and I need to get it off my chest, I'm gonna keep it. It don't matter if no 2 people like it, 200 people like it, it don't matter.
Okay.
That's how I am. But if I'm ever writing some just in general and I'm kind of like, I usually like that might have to see it might never see the light of day. You know what I mean? So I'm very particular like that. But I feel like when I know it's good, it's usually just out of like, it's almost like when you're like sleep deprived and you end up, your body just gives up. It's like, you know what, here, just write, just get it
Just
out,
here.
just pen and pad. This is what you need. And yeah, that's when the magic usually happens.
Word. Just out of pure frustration, guys. You're just like, I've read so much shit about this topic. If if brain, if you could just.
Oh man. Well, yeah, I really feel like that. I feel like the only time I'm not like that is when I have like a like intentionality, when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write a topic, about my great aunt, who's 87 years old, or I'm gonna write about nature and my relationship to water. Then I can focus in, like I can use more of like, but if I'm just like out here regular day, I want to write, like it either has to call me or it ain't it's probably just, it's a journal entry. It's probably just, meh.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you. All right, let's try another poem and then I have several questions, but
Let's do this.
yeah,
All
we'll
right,
be
cool, cool. All right. So let's see. All right. So this is a, a self-care routine,
Ooh.
and I'd love for you to just bear with me and kind of get a sense of maybe the routine that I'm talking about. Just maybe you can put it in comments or whatnot, but it's called self-care routine. In a clean bowl, mix together 1/2 cup Dove liquid body soap, 1 tablespoon honey, 1 tablespoon vanilla extract, and 1 egg white. Stir until the white of egg bloats. Bust the shell over a bowl and pass the yolk back and forth between 2 halves of the same carapace as ivory dribbles into the saucer. Essential scents like lavender and chamomile help unwind the tension your body, your job creates from extracting your story without reimbursement. Epsom salts assist in draining muscles, releasing the urge to deny yourself this reward, to justify why your nonprofit doesn't have enough in the budget to pay you your worth, excusing the fact that no response is still a response, a proclamation. Create ultimate bliss from dimming light and overhead candles, safe spots. Feel free if your background allows for you to sink into meditative state. Alexa, Play Good and Plenty by Alex Isley, please. Running Water, Warm, but not too balmy. Some bother to check it to esteem, yearning to heal. Stick a device with pyrometric sensors inside until mercury places itself adjacent to a numerical value that protects your skin, that holds your body close as you soak. If you want to stay, you can. Thank you.
Listen, listen. If we were together, I'd throw my fucking shoe at you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's a thing that you said it and I missed it, but I know it's profound. I would love to go over it again. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
have the word extracting.
Yeah,
You said
definitely.
something about extracting.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. So help unwind the tension your job creates from extracting your story without reimbursement.
Bro. Ah! From extracting your story without reimbursement. That alone, like that line just like makes my brain just go, wait, what? Yes. And it's just it's a small piece of a much larger, beautiful piece. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And
Appreciate
there are like these little pockets of I wouldn't even say knowledge, like little pockets of like life lessons. They just drop here and there throughout the poem,
it.
which not only do you enjoy like this piece, but you're also just like, maybe I need this shit. Like maybe I need this in my life. Um I feel like that is the mark of, and who the fuck am I to tell you, but I feel like that is the mark of really great poetry. Of
Mm,
not just like, let's sit here and listen to work, which please listen to your poet friends' work. Okay, we work very hard on it.
mm,
But also, when you get a poem that drops not just life lessons and knowledge, but um uh empathy.
mm,
I feel like that's a thing that could not only change someone's day, but just change shit around.
mhm.
And I feel like that's part of our jobs as poets to um not just look at society, but also just be like, we gonna make it, bitch. We good. I
That
I really enjoy that piece. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Were you able to hear the entire thing though? I just want to make sure audio is still good.
The beginning part was a little choppy, and I think I got it.
Okay.
I think when I turn my mic off, it messes up your mic.
Okay.
So if you want, we can go through the whole thing again, and I can edit it later, and I will listen to that shit 5,000 times. And it's not shit. I don't mean to say it like that. I just meant
No, you good. No, it's on you on in terms of like the quality for the playback. If you want to do it again, we can wait until another time. I'm totally
yeah, if
down.
you want, we can wait and do it. What do you guys think in the chat? Do you want to hear it again, or do you want to wait until the podcast comes out? I know y'all, everyone in here is like subscribed to the podcast, right? I know, I know. I'm just putting that out there. So you guys let us know what you want to do. We're gonna ask some more questions, then we'll come back to it. Okay.
All right, bet.
All right. Oh, I'm curious about this. What is your writing process? How do you write, and how often do you write?
Yeah, so I was just saying that like I try to write every day. Just anything, a word, a line, a poet, just like a poem, a haiku. Um, my process to writing is, I think, yeah, like I said before, I'm a observant person at nature. So I am very keenly aware of my surroundings. And with someone as like with roommates, I live with roommates, and also who has had like trauma with other people in roommates situations. I also have like triggers and PTSD
Mhm.
about my space and having my space be my space in a way. So I'm definitely always like on edge about like what's going on around me and like what I can do to make sure I'm comfortable. Um, and I think a lot about, once again, as I consume what I'm doing in the day, what's coming to me, what I'm able to kind of navigate through. I think a lot about stories that I want to tell.
Mhm.
So, for example, yeah, with the urban renewal project, what I really want to write about is just how urban renewal in the 60s shaped Madison Park Community Center, or the Madison Park development, that still stands today,
Mhm.
55 years later. And the reason why I want to say that is because my great aunt, who's 87 years old, shout out Pauline Sheridan, um,
What's up, Pauline?
she still lives and is still living in those apartment complexes. And she's been there for 55 years. And I feel like, I really want to unpack stories like that amongst my family, like the origins of my family, similar to what I was saying before, of being able to have those, almost those monoliths in time, to pass down to the next generation and say, you know, um, this is a memoir almost of your great aunt or your great grandmother. And I feel like, we all should write memoirs of our lives. I don't think poets are, or writers should be, um, privileged enough only to write about themselves. I feel like we can all learn about our journeys if we're writing down, more about what's going on around us.
Mhm.
Um, what I feel like I'm catching more on is things come out in chunks for me. So I keep a graveyard. So I keep a document in my phone and in like a notebook called the graveyard.
Mhm.
So if I'm ever watching like Squid Game, I don't know if anybody's watching Squid Game right now,
Right.
and like a word comes up, or an analogy comes up, or a dope line comes up, I'll scribble it in my graveyard. Similar to if I'm listening to, another great poet and they say a dope line or a dope word, or if there's a word that I don't know and I'm reading, I'll write it down. And I feel like what ends up happening when I come back, I kind of leave it some time. Then I come back and I look through some of these things that have caught my attention over the last like few days, and
Mhm.
maybe I'll pick something from that to start with. Um, so yeah, like um, the Lucille Clifton poem, for example,
Mhm.
it was a short piece, and I had actually wrote the title of the poem in my graveyard maybe a couple
Mhm.
months back. And like 2 weeks ago, I just went back to my graveyard and I noticed this poem, and I had to reread it. And when I reread it, I was like, oh, I know exactly what I wanted to do with this. I want to write my own versions of them. And that was those first few pieces I read, um, and I think a lot about how that helps my creative spirit, because sometimes I like to jump around from things. So I'm not always just like in the writing mood. Sometimes I like to draw, sometimes I like to paint, sometimes I like to rap, or make beats, or write about sports or watch sports, and I feel like when those other things pull at me, I'm getting better at understanding that I can do both. I can have that mind for writing, but also like lean more into the other passions I have in my life, and really know that they're all connected, and what will be will be.
Mhm.
I'll find a way to connect this back to my writing. Um, so yeah, I think the graveyard is humongous. Um, and yeah, outside of that, I do a couple of like quick warm up exercises that get me going.
Mhm.
So a couple of gems here. I do this thing with my partner called word association, where
Mhm.
we'll just pick a word and random word we'll give each other, and we have 3 minutes to free write.
That's
So
dope.
yeah, so it comes in different ways. My creative process comes in different ways. Sometimes I'm sitting with my partner, and she's amazing. And we're able to bounce ideas off each other, and that's how writing comes.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's like, stories that I want to kind of collect while I'm kind of observing life. And then other times it just comes from my graveyard, things that, I wrote down and I come back to, and I resurrect them.
Mhm. Dope. So one last question, then we're gonna get up out of here. Um, you're what does it mean to be a dreamer to you? What is
Ooh,
you? What do you being what does that feel like to you to be a dreamer?
it feels it feels I want to say fleeting almost, but
Mm,
it also feels like it's a wondrous feeling in a way. I feel like as a dreamer, you're ever chasing um this euphoria of of fruition, of like having these dreams come true. But I also think, dreaming is a mindset. It's also like, being, someone who believes when nobody else believes. So it comes
mm,
with different cards. I feel like, some days being a dreamer is hard. You can't pay bills with dreams, so it's really hard when you have friends or people who aren't there in your corner like you would like them to be, right?
mhm,
But I think there's also times where dreams can be, they're just so satisfying, so inspiring. I think they're the things that allow us to continue to go. I don't think any of us who go to 9 to 5 jobs go if we're not dreaming of a best case scenario, in that 9 to 5, or something that bounces off of that. So I just think a lot about how, like, dreams, being a dreamer, like, it changes, but knowing that those emotions all support themselves, right? Like, it's a process. I'm never going to be I never try to be too high or too low in that scenario. um yeah, I really just think that, like, it is a wondrous feeling. I feel like it's a lifestyle almost,
mhm.
to forever believe in yourself, or to forever push when maybe you're the only one pushing that boulder up the hill. Um, but yeah, I definitely think that it's there's a payout that, like Squid Game, there's a payout that you don't expect, right?
Yes.
Let me stop with the spoilers.
All right, chat. Well, first of all, the dreamer in you is definitely being shown because you're doing the things like you're making the things happen. You're doing the things to make your dreams real, and that alone is inspiring to see. So, thank you for sharing your poetry. Thank you for being here with us. You are absolutely an inspiration. Before we go, can we give everyone your socials where they can find you, and if you have anything that you want to promote, let's do that.
Hey, so yeah, I am on Instagram right now at Words Mean Nada. It's all one word. It's exactly how it is sounds. And that's my page, my artist page. You can kind of follow me there. I crack jokes, but I also tell you about, what's going on in my artist journey. I kind of drop some poems sometimes, some snippets. So yeah, just follow me there. Right now, I am actually compiling poems for a book.
Nice.
Um, so I'm really just hoping to get that process going, and hopefully there'll be something that I can, tell people about one day really soon. But right now, I have a collection. I'm a part of a collection of 2 books coming up, 2 poetry books.
Mhm.
They're still kind of in the way, they're like in the ether of when they're supposed to kind of come out to the streets. But one with Right on the Dot, which is a nonprofit in Dorchester, Massachusetts. I think they're affiliated with a college in the city,
Mhm.
who highlights writers in the area. And I was lucky enough to get published there. And also 826 Boston, a part of their series working with students in classrooms. I was able to lead a group of young men in the high school age, to write a little bit more about what it's like being Black in America in these days. And it's a poetry slash rhyme book. There's a lot of like just creative expression in that book, and I have a couple of poems in there as well. So I'll definitely be putting that on my Instagram page. Follow me there, and that's just me. So I really appreciate you having me on, T. Can I do another poem before we head out?
Hell yeah.
Hey, okay, cool. So this last poem is one of my favorites. It is called Nina Simone. Nina Simone explains what it means to be free.
What? Okay.
Definition: 1. Absence of necessity, coercion, constraint in the face of action. 2. Liberation from slavery. The reporter asks, "Well, what's free to you?" And Nina gestures, readjusts brown and black striped dress. Her reflexes serves the inquiry back. Same thing as it is for you. You tell me. Effortless. Like Venus Williams, the stage, Wimbledon 2000, match point. But in 1970, coming from the safety of a white man, this question feels booby-trapped. An attempted lynching. Easiest thing would be to build a case out of truth. Francis McIntosh was supposed to be a free mulatto man when he became the first hung in St. Louis, 1836. Emmett Till was 14 when he got snatched from his bed in Mississippi, 1955. Malcolm Hirsch and Robert Fuller were found hung from trees near Palmdale. Authorities claim no sign of foul play. 2020. Just a feeling, Nina finally say. Head swaying unfazed. It's like, how can you tell someone how it feels to be in love? How are you gonna tell anyone who has not been in love you cannot do it to save your life? You can describe things, but you can't tell them. But you know it when it happens. Popular, convenient, propped up behind glass walls for black folk, freedom a buzzword posing. Senate halls dressed in formal attire to express justice for all until Proud Boys crash the party they feel like they sponsored. And see how that riot was allowed to be free. How wild can be wild and not called criminal or thuggish. How most thought it was ritual to break federal law, then board a plane and be back at work Monday morning. Black folk can't even break unwritten rules. Must perform twice as well, be strung up twice as tight, or be hung up twice as high. For caged birds, the tune we sing is heard across the globe, clipped wings or tied feet. Free birds envision the day they conquer the sky. Nina say, freedom means no fear, and I hear families bawling from a Birmingham bombing on 16th Street. I hear the urgency mama has when she demands I return home from the store in one piece, reds, whites, and blues swirling. I hear gunshots. I can feel the news anchor telling the country to consider the cop as a husband, a father, a brother. How his knee was a gavel. How his fear meant death to a black body. I can see a black vessel becoming symbolic again. Black name become rally cry. Become t-shirt moniker. Become beacon of peace, as if our flesh and organs are to be sacrificed with hope to breathe again. Thank you.
Listen. God damn it. Wow. 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 Um, First, Shannon said, please tell Duran from one artist to another, he's amazing, dude. And thanks for making my night. Marie said, this is amazing, simply amazing. Um, I, let's just go down this bitch. Whew. Very powerful, extremely powerful. Marie's right. She said, great, powerful poem. There's a couple things that you said that really like just piqued my ears, so I wrote them down. Effortless, like Serena Williams.
Mm,
I thought that connection like really, and then you went into Wimbledon,
mm,
but I felt like that connection really brought us to like how effortless it looks
mm,
and how much work is actually behind it.
mm,
And
mm.
I'm not sure if that's what you're going for, but that's kind of what I got out of it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. Coming Listen, this line right here, coming from the safety of a white man.
Mm,
Coming I That it alone speaks volumes,
mm,
especially talking about race and racism. That, yeah. Freedom, a buzzword posing.
mm.
Listen. Oh my god. I love that line, man. Freedom, a buzzword posing.
Mm,
There's so much in there.
yeah.
Is it really freedom? Will we ever be free? We have cell
Mm,
phones. Is
mm,
freedom even uh, possible in this age? Uh, that's a whole new, yeah. Okay. And then you said, can't even, yes, black people can't even break unwritten rules.
mm,
Can't even break unwritten rules.
mm,
That hit hard. That
mm,
hit so hard. And then you said clipped wings or tied feet. I was just like,
mm.
damn.
Oh
And then the
man, I
last
appreciate
thing you
this.
wrote down, which I almost cried, and I was like, "You're not, nope, I'm not crying today, okay?" Um, Black name become, black name become rally cry. It
Mm,
is, I mean, it's so powerful because it's so true.
mm-hmm,
I mean, this past 2 years, we were all, yelling all of these beautiful black people who were just simply murdered because no other reason than they're black.
mm,
And then the murderers walking away, and then here we are in the streets like rally crying and saying their names, and here we are the next day and the next day, and here we are. How
yeah,
long are we going to be here?
yeah.
I That whole poem is just a whole feeling, man. That whole poem is just a whole movement. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm so glad you did.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Wowzers. I
Awesome.
really hope we can work together again, or like see each other in person one day.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
really love your work, man. I think you're dope as shit.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity, and this won't be the last time. So let's not make it a goodbye, but yeah.
See you later.
Yeah,
Yes.
big time.
Oh my gosh. And whenever you get your book, or whenever you have something new, hit me up. I'll throw it up on the podcast group and do everything I can to help you push this thing, man. You're the real deal, bro.
Appreciate it. Have a good one. Have a good night.
Absolutely. You guys have a wonderful night. Remember, hurt people, so keep an eye on your pain. Stay
Mhm.
safe, Godspeed, and we'll see you next week. You guys have a great night. Thank you, Durane West. I don't know why I said your name like that. Y'all have a good week. And remember, I'm so sorry. I know you're a Celtics fan and a Red Sox fan, but go Yankees.
All right, I'm out.